We are getting super close to finishing out this tiny house hayloft conversion project, but because interior design is not really my strong point, I want to take a quick field trip to my friend's tiny house to get some design and inspiration ideas to make this place really look like home. We are standing in the shower of your shed converted into a tiny house. Do you mind telling me how much you've spent from shed to shower?
So when you do all the work yourself and we're not you, the trouble is that we have to redo a lot.
This is my friend Geraldine.
Hello.
And this is her tiny house. And we're gonna take a little tour. Be our guest.
Be our guest because we have our honeybees on the land.
Oh, right. How many square feet is this?
This is 400 square feet total.
400 square feet. And it is 2 levels, yes?
It is a 2-level house. Originally, we had a ladder that was coming out of the ceiling here, climb on up there. So yeah, we were doing drawings and drawings and drawings of where in the world can we put a full-size staircase because nobody wants to climb a ladder. And we finally were able to do that. I think it's kind of fun. That way you can be in a tiny house, enjoy the experience, but also feel like you have space and that you can actually get through it.
That is amazing. So tell me, this used to be a shed, right?
It was legitimately just walls and plywood, which at first we didn't really know what to do with that. And then we watched a bunch of tiny house shows, as we all do, and thought, well, heck, why don't we try this?
You two are the kings and queens of budget fixes. So tell us about how you converted this shed into a tiny home on a budget.
Yeah, no, so a lot of it was DIY. So lots of hard work went into doing as much of it as we could ourselves, which was a lot of trial and error, which actually I called you the other day to help me fix some of it.
In fact, this video actually became a video because the other day her pipes were frozen and she called me and was like, hey, do you know how to do this little shark bite stuff? And I was like, we'll figure it out. So we did.
Learning experiences. Ultimately, it was just the plywood walls. The splurge that I did have was the shiplap. You know, we could have gone for drywall, but we didn't.
This is like a farmhouse.
It is a farmhouse meets cabin meets tiny house.
I love it. I mean, well, and you've got your farmhouse sink over here.
That was a great find. So I think this was Wayfair, and for whatever reason, I was able to get this smaller size for around $200, which I was really thrilled about because most of them are not $200.
Yeah.
So I shipped that in and hoped for the best, and it ended up being great. The appliances. This was like the most fun game that I had, was finding all of the different pieces in different places.
I mean, this is like the same size as the kitchen in our apartment, so this is great.
Also was a weird challenge when it came to setting it up.
Sure.
Because I wanted a bar in here where you had stools, and we tried every which way, and finally it made sense to just be a galley kitchen. And I'm glad that we did do that. These are all scratch and dent. They were all from different places. Like this was the Sears outlet. This was actually the GE appliance outlet store online, which I'm still waiting for a part to come in. And this was another shop in Nashville, and then another scratch and dent. As you see, this is the dent here. But this fridge was really fun. So we went to scratch and dent, and there were a bunch of these units, but they all had drawers that were beat up, except for a few. And so we swapped them around to get the most great looking condition fridge that we could. And here we go out of the scratch and dent with barely any scratches or dents.
Shameless.
So, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. We had a family member come and cut the countertop and fit all of that. These are butcher block countertops from Lowe's. At the time, they were affordable.
And then we have some storage under the stairs.
In retrospect, I wanted to put a washer and dryer in here. And then since we do it as a short-term rental, I thought, well, maybe we don't need to put a washer and dryer in here. And instead we opted for a really large hot water heater so that people can take long, luxurious showers when they want to.
But so we've got a pretty dang spacious kitchen, living room.
Another thing we did is that a lot of this furniture is stuff that we had from an old office that we were working in. We took the pieces that we weren't going to be using again and put them in here. What I love about it is it's slip cover. You take all the covers off, you wash them, it's fresh all the time.
This is my friend Eric, by the way, who's holding the camera.
Hi.
Eric, you live in an apartment in New York.
I do.
How many square feet is it?
It's way less than this.
Is it
So
Yeah.
you could tell us about tiny living yourself.
You want to have one good bowl and one good spoon, fork, and knife, and you're set.
Minimalism and simplicity at its finest.
I found this little chandelier for maybe $40, and that was a great fun find. So this I was really excited about because it was, again, just a space with plywood floors, and there really wasn't anything defining it. And this wall here wasn't there. It was all just one open space, and we found this tiny couch at the at-home store.
Tiny couch for a tiny house.
Oh my god, it's miniature. Probably about $200, but worth it for the fact that where do you find such a miniature couch?
Where do you find something that fits this specific space so perfectly?
It was the weirdest thing. The farmhouse door that you see here. So we had these old shutters that we actually glued together and painted and put on the roller here. So it ended up probably coming together for all about 40 or 50 bucks.
Hold on, those shutters look like the shutters at my house. I'm just kidding. Our houses used to be owned by the same person, so every time I'm looking around in here at things that they salvaged from their property, I'm like, does this match any of my home's items?
We also find all sorts of things from the old owner that
Blue crayon.
Yeah, that's
on everything.
That is that.
It's no problem though. We're happy about it.
Yeah, it's actually kind of like a lost and found situation. You know, where do you find the blue crayon today? I wanted to have a full-size bed in here so that you could be comfortable. I've seen the tiny houses.
Isn't this a queen?
Actually, yes, you're right. This is a queen.
I mean, this is a spacious full. It's a full queen, and I'm full of it.
I've seen a lot of tiny houses where they have the twin beds that are, you know, very, very small. I've also seen just recently in a tiny house in London where they have this twin bed that is above like a microwave and the storage for the clothing. It's extremely miniature.
Let's come in the bathroom.
Okay.
Let's all of us come in the bathroom. Eric, join us. Oh, look at this.
Having a space where you can take an actual shower.
A spacious shower.
I've seen wet rooms. I prefer to actually be able to shower.
That's true. I mean, we're not having to flush our shower stuff down the toilet.
And when you have it on such a smaller scale, you can splurge for, you know, a tile that's a little bit more expensive per unit because you don't have very much of it.
That's my favorite thing about tiny houses is that you're doing a small amount of square footage, so you can afford to kind of splurge on the items that are important to you.
A shower door. It doesn't impede on your space.
Yeah, it doesn't make it feel smaller.
I was worried about a piece of glass swinging in and out from here and getting smashed. And
Good
so
point.
that was actually a cost-saving thing here as well because, you know, you have a bar and you have a shower curtain, and that's much cheaper than a custom sheet of glass that would have cost us thousands to install here. So that was a corner that was cut, and I think actually it was for the better.
Before we leave the bathroom, there's also plenty of room for actually, like, we could do more storage there. This has been functional and livable for, what, 2 years now?
I thought about putting some laundry bins and such over there. You don't have room to put one that's on the ground. You don't really want to drill it into the wall and bumping into it. Ceiling fans, I find those important when you're in a small space like this because it's hard to get really good heating and cooling. So we have one of those on each floor so you can open up the windows. I will show you a really fun function downstairs. NV heaters, which we tried out this year, and so far so good. They're just very compact and they're very efficient, and I believe they're only, is it 500 watts? Does that sound right to you? For it to be running efficiently and cheaply like that?
I actually don't know because 500 watts to me sounds like a lot.
Maybe it's 50. I don't know. It's one or the other. But either which way, it's radiant heat and it seems to do a really good job.
How does it vent out?
It is vented through the window.
Oh, cool.
This is where we hide the power box.
I love this. The most obnoxious guest.
One of my favorite things is when we first got this building. The doors here were actually on the other side, which leads out onto a driveway.
Oh.
But that's no fun.
Yes.
So we actually moved the doors over here to allow wonderful hangouts outside.
Do you know how many square feet are on your deck?
That's also a question mark. Probably another 400, I would assume.
It's great.
So then-
you have the best view.
So then folks can open that up, turn on the ceiling fans, have a glass of wine, putz around, grill, and just enjoy being in the Tennessee woods.
I absolutely love this place. It's so cool. Crushed it.
Thank you. I think it's super important that when you do have a tiny house, if you can make a great outdoor space so that you're not contained inside only, it feels much larger.
And I mean, actually, now we have a great view of the interior. 400 square feet, you can do a lot in there. And what's really cool about this is that you had this as an asset on your property already, and then when the pandemic hit, when your business disappeared and all that other stuff, you basically keep yourselves afloat during
It was
the
a
pandemic.
really, really wonderful opportunity to supplement some income with this. We kind of built this not really knowing what we were going to do with it, just knowing that we really wanted it and that it was going to be a really neat space, maybe even for just guests to come and visit us. And so ultimately, I think it's something that everyone should explore if they have the space and have the ability to do so.
How did you go about getting approved for your septic? Like, did you have to get a permit? Tell me.
Yes, so you have to own the land that you're putting it on. There's a lot of back and forth red tape in regards to if your tiny house is on wheels or if it is not. Ours is not. However, the building was here when we purchased the property, so that was helpful to us, and also was the plumbing and the electrical. So all of that was handled prior, so I just urge anyone who's doing this to really read up on what you should be doing and to go the right ways about it.
Yes, especially if you're going to use it for supplementary income and you're going to be inviting other people. There's insurance things things, there's
a lot to it.
liability things, and then there's also going to be people that are going to need to have permit approvals and things, like if you're putting in a septic tank or if you're attaching to city water and all those things. So all things to be considered, but it is so fun to have this little resource in our neighborhood.
Well, thank you for coming over to let me show it to you.
Thanks for letting us come. We appreciate it. I absolutely love gaining inspiration from finished spaces like that because it helps me to really visualize how to better use space like this. And now comes the fun part, actually getting to build all of the pieces to custom fit this space and actually really make it feel like a home. This has been a project 4 years in the making. And if you're interested in seeing the journey from the beginning, I chronicled it all on my Squarespace website, annaballtrades.com. There you can see how we constructed the original shed structure, how we wired and insulated and drywalled and finished out that space and got to the same point that we started on this project here. Though I had been building furniture for a long time, this was my very first construction, home building, DIY type project, and I have learned so much along the way. And because this project has been going on for so long, it is so cool to be able to revisit each step of the way on my website. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I'm not a super tech savvy person, but Squarespace has provided me an incredible resource in giving me the opportunity to drag and drop literally whatever I want to share with the world into a beautiful artist design template and then share it with the world. So if you're thinking about starting your own website, maybe you want to have an online store or a gallery that you can share with potential clients, go to squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch your site, go to squarespace.com/AnnaballTrades and you'll get a 10% discount. Now it is time to design and build the furniture for this space. Stick around, I will see you in the next video. Cheers!